The entire Bat family is trying to kill Bruce Wayne. Batman vs. Robin Part 3, let's get into it. In Part 2, we left off with Alfred walking closely behind Bruce while giving a creepy smile and casting a shadow of the devil Neza. And in Part 3, we pick up with Bruce and Alfred in the Batjet heading towards Lazarus Island. Bruce tells Alfred that they've lost all communications with the Bat family, and that Damian knows that they're on their way. The next page reveals that Mother Soul has given weapons to the Bat family for their quest to hunt down and kill Bruce. Tim Drake is given an invisibility cloak, Red Hood is given the Trident of Poseidon, Stephanie Brown is given a staff that allows her to control plants like poison ivy, and Nightwing is given Azrael's Sword of Sin. Damian tells all of them to get to their battle stations and that by sunset, Bruce will be dead. The story then goes back over to Bruce and Alfred, who have now landed on Lazarus Island. Bruce tells Alfred that he has to stay behind because this journey will be too dangerous for him. Then he takes off into the jungle and we see that Tim is watching him from a distance. On the other hand, Damian is paying a visit to his mother Talia. He tells her that she's never been a good mother because good mothers don't turn their kids into killing machines. Talia responds by telling him that he should be thankful that she didn't let him turn into a soft little boy with no purpose. Damian, who's had enough of it, tells Talia that she went way too far and even tried killing him in the past, and because of that and more, she must finally pay for her sins. That's when it's revealed that everything around them has all just been an illusion and that Talia's really been trapped and bonded inside of a dark prison. The story then flips back over to Bruce following a trail, when suddenly he's knocked down from his tree. He hears Tim's voice but can't find him anywhere, which is when he realizes that Tim must be invisible. Tim then seemingly appears out of thin air and whacks Bruce with his bow staff, causing Bruce to crash into the ground. Tim then tells Bruce that he's still angry at him for replacing him with Damian. Bruce responds by saying that Tim didn't need him anymore, that he was good enough to be on his own. Bruce is then forced to smash Tim's face into the ground, and then he ties him up in order to continue the mission. The next page reveals that Mother Soul and Neza are still torturing Black Alice, forcing her to siphon the magic out of the Queen of Fables to deposit it into the Helmet of Fate, now making the Helmet of Fate more powerful than ever before. On the next page, they gain a new prisoner, a magical pig named Shifu Pigsy. He frightens Neza by telling him that his son, King Firebull, who is even more powerful than Neza, is already here on Earth and he can't wait to say hello. After that, we meet up with Bruce again, and he's suddenly wrapped up by a bunch of vines. At first he thinks it's poison ivy, but then shortly after he learns that it's another ex-Robin, Stephanie Brown. And just like Tim Drake, she tries making Bruce feel guilty about the way he treated her when she was a Robin, claiming that Bruce never tried with her while attacking him with the entire jungle around him. Eventually she grows so angry that she tosses Bruce into the air and he almost falls off a nearby cliff. As Bruce hangs off the cliff, he tries figuring out who he'll have to battle next, and that's when Red Hood jumps in the mix, using his Poseidon to smash Bruce into some rocks. Red Hood then makes Bruce feel guilty about his death. He says that Bruce should have made him his #1 priority, but Bruce knows that in order to keep on going, he must take Jason out. So he waits for Jason to get close enough and then knocks the air right out of his stomach. Then he leaps right into the air and dishes Jason a flying knee. In the process of all of this, Bruce is able to steal Jason's Poseidon and he uses it to knock Jason unconscious. And after that, he uses it to knock Stephanie unconscious. Now that 3 of the Robins are down, Bruce knows that there can only be one left. None other than the first one, aka Dick Grayson. Meanwhile, back at Neza's cave, Shifu Pigsy tries reasoning with Damian. He tells Damian that he knows there's still good in his heart. Then he asks Damian what he's getting out of this, because he gets why Neza's doing it. He's doing it to gain an army of 8 billion people to use against King Fireball. But he doesn't understand why Damian is doing this. Damian doesn't give an answer, but does reveal why Mother Soul is wrapped up in all of this. It's because she wants to cleanse the earth to the point where there's almost no humans on it, so nobody can poison it. But Shifu Pigsy really wants to know what's going on with Damian, so he brings the question back to him. But Damian can't come up with anything. Pigsy then tells Damian that Neza used to be a hero, but was corrupted after using Lazarus juice to make himself immortal. Damian then asks Pigsy if Neza's corruption can be reversed, and that's when Neza comes out of nowhere, grabbing Damian by the cowl, telling him that it's not corruption, it's clarity. Then Neza tells Mother Soul to take Pigsy over to Black Alice to siphon the magic out of him to put inside the Helmet of Fate. Going back over to Bruce, we see that he's finally run into Nightwing, and Alfred shows up as well because he was worried Bruce wasn't alive. And if 3 guilt trips weren't enough, Nightwing gives Bruce his 4th one by saying that Bruce took him away from thousands of loving and adoring fans and then made him hide behind a mask as Robin. And at first, Bruce is like, man, this guy's right. Maybe all of the Robins are right. I could have just given all of them a normal life, free of danger. What kind of monster am I? But then, as soon as Nightwing dishes him a clean blow to the jaw, Bruce realizes that he's only feeling guilty because Nightwing is wielding the Sword of Azrael, a sword that manifests guilt and doubt and magnifies them in an opponent's mind. And it hasn't been being used on him in just this fight. It's been being used on him the entire time that he's been on this island, and that's why he's been feeling guilty the entire time. Nightwing then tries to dish Bruce the killing blow, but luckily Bruce is able to dodge it. And then, just when Alfred thinks that Bruce is out of defenses, Bruce uses Alfred as a literal human shield and lets Nightwing stab him right in the chest. And then after that, Bruce deals a clean left right to Nightwing's jaw, knocking him completely unconscious. And that's when Bruce reveals that he's known Alfred was an imposter the entire time, because there were too many subtle clues and differences that let Bruce know that this couldn't be Alfred. Then out of nowhere, a Lazarus demon from Neza jumps out of Alfred's chest and scurries off into the jungle. And as Alfred's seemingly lifeless body lays there, Bruce looks down upon him. Then suddenly, Alfred is given a window of life. He calls out to Bruce and says that it's really him.
It's really me, Master Bruce. Don't blame yourself for my death. I knew the risk of being Batman's butler, and there was no way you could have saved me. I miss you, Bruce. Your parents send their love.
I can only imagine that this fuels Bruce's drive to complete this mission even more so, because right after that, with broken ribs and wounds all over, he just bandages up and takes off right back into the jungle. And that's when our issue comes to an end. Like for part 4.